Hello and welcome to yet another cast. For you today I have a custom, well, it's more than two teams today, so, well, I can't really say custom 3v3v3v3. Well, I can say that, but it gets a bit tiring. But no, yeah, we have four teams today, each comprised of three players. One in the north, one in the east, one in the south, and one in the west. And let's start north with team... Wait, oh, team 1 is actually the one in the west, and after that it's circular around. Okay, in that case, it took me a moment to realize that. Let's start with the southernmost player of the western team, team 1. In pink, going UEF, opening first land, we have Wackathor. Then to the north of that, in yellow, going Seraphim, opening first land, we have Twitchy Mofo. To the north of that, in Regal Purple, we have Crusader Nova, going UEF, opening first land. And already some communication going on here in chat. Then let's go for Team 2, up in the north, on their westernmost slot. In brown, we have Nyx, going not going UEF, going Cypern, opening first land. Then to the east of that, in orange, going UEF, opening first land, we have Roix Legit. And to the southeast of that, in green, going Cypern as well, we have DE Crow. Going Cypern, opening first land. Now to Team 3 in the east. Their northernmost player, in red, going UEF, opening first land, is Freedom. Or C2118 Freedom, I will just refer to them as Freedom. Also highest rated player in the game at 1900. Then to the south of that, in burgundy red, going Aeon and opening first land, we have Bark, already moving south. And to the south of that, in purple, going Aeon as well, and also opening first land, we have Rose Boys 3. Now, let's go to the last team in the south. On the easternmost slot for the southern team, in dark blue, going Cypern and opening first land, we have CM Nicholas. I will refer to them as just Nicholas. Then to the west of that, in dark green, going Aeon, opening first land, we have Hyper. And last but not least, to the west of that, in white, going UEF, opening first land, we have Saneman. I just all of the player introductions out of the way. It took some time because, well, 4 teams, each with 3 players, so 12 players in total. That's a lot of players and, more importantly, a lot of player introductions. Saneman already moving out quite aggressively into this direction, while Wackathor is also expanding quite aggressively with the ACU in direction of Saneman. Then we already have Rust Boys also walking up to the front. Nicholas currently just sending out some light spam, nothing too major to deal with that, just to claim some stuff. Bark moving around the back, also intending to claim some stuff. Crusader Nova pushing very aggressively with the comm at Nyx. Also getting some engineers and probably gonna get some max kills here with a few back marines. But those will run into the ACO of Nyx that is moving in as well. Freedom in the meantime also pushing in quite aggressively onto the small plateau area right here and building a T1 PD. Plateaus brings me to actually talking about the map, which I would have almost forgotten. We're talking around 12k reclaim on the map. At least right now, how much has already been reclaimed? A lot, so probably more something like 15k or so. Looking at that, no, we're probably closer to actually 20k. Yeah, we are on a 20k base and in quite a bit, so probably 15k total size. And of course, 4 team spawns. As already pointed out earlier, ACU for Nyx now starting to tangle with Crusader Nova's ACU. Crusader Nova now also with a few strikers in the mix, harassing the ACU. But Nyx has a few Mantis now also moving into the area, as well as the ACU of Raw X legit to support. Gun upgrades done for Wackerfell, T2 upgrade on the way for Sanaman, and Hyper on the way to support Sanaman. Though the gun upgrade will definitely be something to be wary of, because that can be very powerful early on, of course. And does not look like there is a gun upgrade coming out for Sanaman anytime soon. So considering the fact that there are some messages from observers to upgrades, I assume that there have been observers when this game was played. Sure, whatever. Ross, currently under significant pressure from Nicholas, forced into the water due to Nicholas just having superior numbers of spam, while Ross, probably due to a mispick, mass-produced T1 scouts. The Spirit. While the Spirit has some amazing range, that's basically anything it has going for it. Doesn't have DPS, doesn't have health. I mean, it does have radar and great vision, but that's because it's, well, a T1 scout. That's kind of what you would expect. And they are dying to something. I don't know what. Oh, there's a T1 RT I missed. Yeah, that probably explains that. Bark already with T2, now getting, not with T2 already, getting to T2 already with the sensor suite on board. And gun upgrade now also started for Nicholas. Gun upgrade on the way for Freedom. And if we look back down onto the front of Hyper and Sanaman, both of them are now pushing Wackerfell, who does have gun now finished. Sanaman did finish the T2 upgrade, but has taken a significant beating in the process. Possibly due to the gun ACU. Or supporting spam of that. But the two are just now walking down the the ACU of Wackerfell. Of course, all ACUs having the same walk speed means that Wackerfell can't get away from that, and even with the gun upgrade, due to those two ACUs being this close, they can just continue firing and have both a superior HP pool, and being two ACUs, they also just have superior DPM. Meaning that Wackerfell is still down into the red, though Sanaman is getting slowed down significantly due to significant amounts of spam. There is T1 PD, but Hyper, completely ignoring that, continues to push on, is taking a heavy beating. Wackerfell below the significant 2.5k HP that are required to trade, or that you need to go below to trade. Hyper now as well, so if Wackerfell blows, Hyper will do as well. And it looks like Wackerfell will go down. There they go, both at the same time, trading. Wackerfell has drawn with Hyper, as message already suggests. Now, Freedom's still getting that gun upgrade, being pushed by the Eggroll, who already has gun. So needs to be very careful. About to finish it, but, well, they are down on spam by it looks fit. It's not the position you want to be at, and already down into the yellow with that ACU. They finish gun, but they immediately need to start walking. In the meantime, Crusader Nova getting gun on their own ACU, which is also already into the yellow. Nyx building some frontline factories. They do not have gun, but Rogue's legit walking around the side, causing damage there. We have a run by right here from Nyx into the base of Crusader Nova. And of course there's a bit of a power vacuum for the East, and not for the Eastern, for the Western team right now, as they are already down one player. Though the same goes for the Southern team that lost their air player in Hyper. Now, how's it looking up here? Freedom very low, below 1k HP, or to be even more precise, even below 500 HP. Incredibly low. The Eggroll getting a proper lock onto the ACU, and there it goes. Highest rated player of the game gets ejected at just below 9 minutes. So, every team, with the exception of the Northern team, down one player. Bark pushing very aggressively against Nicholas. Not sure if that is the right play, considering the fact that Bark does not have gun, while Nicholas does. Though they do have HP advantage, there's also spam coming in, so maybe not the smartest play here. And I completely missed it, but we got another ejection up in the north. Crusader Nova did go down to Rogue's Legit. I guess they pushed too aggressively with that gun comp. So Western team already down 2 players now. Only Twitchy Mofo. And I think we might be about to see yet another ejection in Bark, who is also losing a lot of HP below 2.5k. And below the 1k. They will not make it to the water, and there they blow. With, yes, already the, well, no, the 5th death this game. At just below 10 minutes. Hard to believe, I know. There was a push attempted by Rossboy to try and help out, but that did not come in time, so it will probably just get mopped up by the ACU now, without making too much more progress. And that means that both Eastern and Western team down to 1 player. South still 2 players in Nicholas and Zanneman, and Northern team still still all players, with the equal Rogue's Legit and Nyx. Zanneman not pushing very aggressively against Toshimofo, maybe trying to keep them as a buffer zone, to just keep the area to just maybe have Toshimofo distract the Northern team, weaken the Northern team, stuff like that. Just keep pressure onto them so that they are forced to do stuff and can't just eco up. And yes, basically serving as a buffer zone as well, in case Northern team tries to push. Also only a singular push out from Ross boys. They don't seem to be... They are building up more units, but this does not look like they are mounting another push there. We do have a major run by from Twitchimofo now up against Nyx. And that one will most likely get into the main base. Definitely kills off a raider here. There is C2BD now being built. Some pillars are in the unit mix, however, so there is definitely some very tanky stuff. And let's see. Just general economic damage, of course, and the cost of being forced to build PD, which is not insignificant. A lot of engineers going down by the looks of it. Will they get the T2P gen? I don't think they will, no. Does go down into the red, but ends up surviving. Oh? Maybe I was wrong about the push. Twitchimofo sending in a bunch of gunships against Zanneman. Zanneman in return starting a land push. But it looks like Zanneman was able to, probably due to the flag right here, fend off the attempted air snipe. Or attempted gunship snipe. But gaining some additional ground in the meantime. And some additional maxes there. Though, well, Zanneman not making a massive effort to defend the south. They could just completely collapse if Zanneman keeps this push up. There are a few Ishwas moving in, but those would be just completely overwhelmed by the T1 spam and the ACU, with just a few overcharges. So, unless Zanneman decides to just keep the area and use Twitchimofo, as I already pointed out, as a buffer zone to, was I already suggested as a buffer zone against Northern team, that's not looking too great for Twitchimofo, though looks like Zanneman is pulling back for now. Mounting another push against the 3max expansion right here, I guess picking that up. We do see a similar situation on the Eastern Front. Not a lot going on here with the Southern team. Also, by looks of it, just basically keeping ground to... Never mind, when at the moment I say that, Nicholas actually mounts a push. No, that is not continuing to push in. Maybe I was wrong. Yeah, maybe it is just to gain a very limited amount of extra ground, but not actually too much more. Another major push coming out from Tujimofo. Again, of course, going after Nyx. And there is this army is basically completely made up of pillars, with a few Ushuas. So it will probably do a lot better than the previous one. Even though there are now some defenses prepared. But pillars just have so much more HP than strikers, meaning that they do tank a lot more damage. And they also have a lot more DPM, or DPS, or however you want to quantify it. In the meantime, Titans on the field for Rossboy, or Rossboys, which are now pushing up, trying to mount a run by against the Egrol. And since Titans are rather fast, they will probably get somewhere. Probably gonna be killing off the 3 max expansion up there. The attack from Tujimofo does seem to be very successful, taking out multiple maxes and factories. There is now a T3 HQ up for Nyx, building some bricks. Though that is a very heavy investment, especially with the eco damage that has been done. Wait, that was only 1 max lost. Huh. Though there is now also a Flapjack that will probably kill off another one. Yep, that will most certainly go down. But Rogue's legit pushing up with the ACU once again, dealing with the Flapjacks, since Flapjacks are not good at close quarters combat. If we move south again, another attack out from Sanaman. Had a bunch of mobile missile launchers split up by Tujimofo, which are threatening the position of Sanaman, so I expect the thing is going on right here is that Sanaman does not intend to push any further, but due to not wishing to basically give ground, is forced to push up to take out a bunch of mobile missile launchers. As they do not seem to be playing very aggressively, just setting up a firebase, and not using a sizable army right here. Bunch of NGs just moving up to get some reclaim from Nicholas into the area of Rossboys, or general frontline area close to Rossboys. And it does not look like there's too much aggression going on here. Tujimofo's mounting a small attack with a bunch of Ishuas, but there is PD to take care of that. And it still looks very different compared to the stuff going on in the north, so yeah, it does not look like there's any intention of major aggression down to the southern area right now. We do have a Strat Bomber out for Nicholas, and that looks like it's flying straight north at the northern team. Maybe also just thinking that Rossboys isn't too much of a threat, going straight for the northern team here, which, to be fair, would be the biggest threat in their position right now, considering that that is the only team still at full player count. But due to that Strat is forced to pull back, and there is now a Wasp right on its tail. Does get 1 max killed, but nothing major right there. Small push of Titans moving up for Rossboys against the Egrol, who is moving up with the ACU, so that is basically already denied. But not before taking out a bunch of PDs, which are of course very costly, as well as a T3 max. That does go down, right? Yes, it does, and there are actually some Titans that have moved around the north there, supporting that. But losing a T3 max, of course, very, very painful. Some communication going on with Tujimofo and Southern team suggesting a truce. Okay, yeah. I mean, it already looked pretty obvious that there was no player from Sandeman to actually to actually move up north, because if there was, Sandeman could have probably just overrun Twitchimofo right then and there. But yeah, I guess it has been formalized now. Freedom in the meantime suggesting that their remaining teammate just ecos up a bit after causing massive damage. And there are a few singular bricks now pushing in the north for Nyx. Right. So looks like the front lines are just turning a bit static now. Still a few Titans doing some border raiding in the for Ross Boys in the north. But also looks like no major aggression out against Ross from the southern team either, so I suspect southern team just preparing to, or just starting to eco up now to deal with the northern team, using the fact that northern team would now be technically still under pressure from Ross Boys and Twitchimofo, since there is no fighting on going on between Eastern and Western team with the Southern team, or at least not any significant amount of fighting. Meaning that the Southern team can currently just completely eco up without any worries in the world, while the Northern team, which technically has the player count advantage, is forced to try and deal with the two players on each side. Overall, if we take a short look at the economies, Team 4, so Southern team, significantly ahead on eco. So basically just showing off the exact thing that I pointed out to be the case right now. At 478 mass income. Team 2, so Northern team, 100 mass behind that. Still makes sense since that is still 3 players that still hold significant amounts of ground. After that, Team 3, so Rose Boys. Also, not too surprising, they are still in possession of a large amount of their respective area. And then last place, Twitchimofo. Not too surprising, since they lost one of their team spawns right here to Sunman being a very, very aggressive fuck there. If you excuse the language. Basically just denying that area to, well, I don't know, maybe keep Twitchimo for a week, maybe just their own greed. Not too sure what the play there is, but as already pointed out a bit earlier, frontlines there are stabilized, so nothing really going on. So I wouldn't expect anything going on between these two. Gun upgrade started for Ross Boys, who does have advanced shield and gun and the advanced gun range upgrade. So I guess going for a combat ACU, though Aeon combat ACU not quite as powerful as, for example, the Seraphim or Cypern one, since there's no significantly more powerful gun upgrade for that. Currently I only cast because I've got very frustrated with teammates when I was still playing, and the regular frustration was not nice, so I decided against continuing to play for quite some time. So basically primary thing I do on streams is casting. We do have a push out from the Ekrol with a bunch of bricks against Ross Boys, though Ross Boys moving up with a bunch of Titans, actually trading very favorably, which, well, I guess it's just up to numbers and stuff like that, due to the fact that usually bricks trade very well into Titans. Just, well, due to the significantly higher HP pool. If you look at this, we have around 3.1k HP on a Titan. We have 7.5k HP on a Brick. That's more than double. Maybe at some point I will play ladder, but not right. But I don't think today. I have to be in the right mindset for that as well. Problem with that, is, of course, is that you have to pay attention to everything. And I guess casting does help to learn that. A few strats come out for Nicholas, taking off a few T2 maxes from the E-Crawl. Just harassing that economy even further. Continuing that play of keeping Team 1's, not Team 1's, Team 2's economy down a bit. And just, well, allowing to eco up, get an advantage while they aren't being pressured in the south. Any play started? Well, no, we just have an SMB right there. Anything down here? No, just expansion of the air grid. Yeah, I don't see anything going on here. Few T1 bombers harass a few of the maxes from Ross Boys. But again, nothing of significance there. Big push out from Tuchimofo against a firebase of Nyx. This firebase does have two T3 maxes and one at T2. And it looks like just the overwhelming numbers of pillars will be able to overwhelm the, well, the tackle guns that are the Cerberus turrets. The Cerberus turrets infamously low DPM, or DPS. Generally significantly lower damage output than most other T2 PDs. Which does have the advantage of not overkilling stuff, but, well... Wait, I think actually the DPS itself isn't that much lower, it's just... the hits themselves just deal some tiny amounts of damage, so that's just a thing. We do have a few gunships coming out from Rogue's Legit to try and deal with the T2 army here, but just overwhelming numbers of interceptors are enough to take out broadswords. And if you have ever tried to fight broadswords with interceptors, you will know that you need insane numbers of interceptors to take that out that fast. We do have a monkey out from Nyx now starting to push. No, monkey definitely big threat. You definitely want some T3 to deal with that. And there are now a bunch of Percival's out for Tuchimofo. So that is stuff that does exist. Proper prec push now mounting for the E-Crow. And the Titans that were enough to hold the position previously will now probably no longer be sufficient, so they already pull back to a more defensible position, where we have a bunch of Ravagers being built up. In the meantime, a bunch of T1 bombers for Nicholas, moving up as well as a few strats, and abiding by the truce signed between Tuchimofo and the southern team, going after the Monkey Lord instead of any of Tuchimofo's infrastructure. Meantime, the defensive line of Ravagers does seem to work out. Northern team in the meantime regaining the maxes that have previously been denied or occupied by Ross Boys. That are realistically on the northern team's part of the map. Including the maxes up here. Liberating those from occupation. And when you look at that, we have Percivals for Sandman collecting in the water in the small pond in the middle, maybe start preparing a small land offensive through the middle against the northern team directly. Meantime, Monkey Lord for Nyx continues to push on. Percival's right here, collecting to mount a defense at the end of the valley area right here. If those do make it there, then that Monkey Lord is in a very bad position due to Percival's basically just eating experimentals alive. Due to, well, being very tanky and the insane alpha damage working very well against experimentals. There are some ASF flying over, maybe for scouting purposes, so those Percivals are scouted, and looks like Nyx, noticing that very dangerous force, decides that they rather pull back the Monkey Lord for now, to keep that safe. Anything else in the box? Well, SMD. Nothing too surprising there. And a Megalith that is about to finish. That is a 98% Megalith. Anything, anyone else in Northern Team planning something? Does not look like it. Megalith finishes. It will probably join up with the Monkey to start a push against Tuchimofo. Let's see, anything... Is the Southern Team up to anything? Well, just more accurate, and of course, by the looks of it, the push through the water in the middle that I pointed out earlier. Because the Percival has the very fun ability to just walk through water. Unlike the Otham and the Prick, however, which are the other T3 main battle units that can move through water, they do not have torpedoes. They can just walk through it. Large force of Strat Bombers collecting for Nicholas, so we might see a snipe there. And those Percy's about to make it to land, but Brick's already moving up to the shoreline to try and deal with that. So the ACU of... wait, no, the Equirol is pulling back. I was about to say so's that ACU, but moving an ACU into an army of Percivals is generally a bad idea because, well, Percivals annihilate ACUs. To be fair, Percivals annihilate a lot of stuff. Because, well, just relatively high HP and some serious high alpha strikes. Those but they do make landfall on the 3 max expansion right here, taking out all 3 maxes, as well as all of the build power present. And running into the bricks that are moving on to try and deal with them. Since they are moving out of the water one by one, they do take a lot of damage, taking some very serious losses here. And in the end, the Percivals aren't really able to deal with all of the bricks, but they did do their job, causing significant damage there, taking out a bunch of eco and killing off a bunch of bricks. That could have gone significantly worse. We do have SAMs and harms being built up in the water in the for the Southern team, I guess to keep themselves safe from the exact play that they just did themselves. Harm's very good at taking out, well, anything on the water. And a Fat Boy has been built up by Sanaman. We now do have the Megalith pushing up with the Monkey Lord. A push around this flank has been started by Tuchimofo, as the entire army is basically at the front now, pushing up with the 2 experimentals. So maybe this is a last-ditch attempt to force those experimentals to pull back and defend. But, well, we do have a few Percys right here. I'm not sure if that is sufficient to keep the area safe. Hyper pointing out to Ross that they are friends. Great. So yes, there is definitely now we definitely are sure that there's a treaty between the Southern team and both of the side teams. Under the pretense of there being a still fully staffed Northern team. We do have those megaliths and my clothes pushing up now. So sorry if I was a bit quiet, I just read chat. And yes, a suggestion to push north was made. You can definitely see the Southern team just wishing to weaken their neighbor to the east with a push like that. Completely missed it, but Twitch Morpho did go down, probably due to the Monkey Lord in the end. With that position and the positioning of the megalith right here. Not too surprising with that, but due to this being, well, the entire team on the west now gone, that of course means that all of the units of the Chimorpho also die and do not get gifted over to full share. There is now a Fat Boy up for Nyx as well, preparing to push up, but I guess Salaman can now start grabbing a bunch of extra Nexus, as the previous agreement no longer holds due to, well, there no longer being a player there. The strats are collecting, probably to deal with the experimentals right here, I assume. Never mind, they are pulling back for now. But there will definitely be something needed to deal with the experimentals as... Well, okay, there it is. Percival's for Sanderman as well as the Fat Boy move up. The Fat Boy will be very effective at dealing with, well, both a Megalith and a Monkey Lord, due to just the high range on the Fat Boy and its ability to kite away. Stormbombers do come in now as well, providing the air fire support against the Monkey Lord, which quickly loses a lot of HP, and is of course also targeted from the Fat Boy's bombardment. Already down below 10k HP. Fat Boy retargets onto the supporting army with its anti-air. Never mind, it stopped firing, probably got out of range or something like that. Or maybe that stuff went into the stealth field of the Monkey Lord and thus could not be retargeted or something like that. Salman finishes another experimental, it's another Fat Boy. And would you look at that, there is now finally a playout from Nicholas, going for a Apocalypse Nuke Launcher and a Novax Center right after. With multiple Novaxes queued up, so we do have the Stand of Place now coming, as well as a Duke out from Sanderman, with a second one already queued up as well. So the T3RT has hit the field. And T3RT for Northern Team, not yet. The artillery currently, well, looks like it did just get a kill. Killing off a bunch of Maxes and a factory there. How much mass was that killed? 16k, okay. Not an insane amount, but not insignificant either. Ross Boys did finish a Monkey Lord, and that is moving north. Laser upgrade in the meantime on the way for the E-Pro. I guess to just hold the line with the ACU for even longer. As the laser is also just very, very powerful, even if you don't combine it with the teleport. Just as a normal Rambo com. You could argue it's actually even more powerful if you use it like that, and possibly even go for Cloak. Since with Cloak you of course need Omni to actually detect the ACU, and you also have an insane HP pool with some insane regen. The Cyprian Commander can get surprisingly tanky if you go for the Cloak upgrade. Especially since the Nano has been added for, I think it's been over a year ago now. Oh, okay, but the play is Tally. So I guess we will see a Tele snipe out from the Ecro. Do we have Tele defense? Not for Nicholas right now. And I have no clue where Sandeman is. Okay, Sandeman is in the water, so I guess we do have kind of Tele defense there. A second Duke being built, or well, has been started, but the spot for a third one is already was already put under construction as well, and there's the third one queued up. Fat Boy for Sandeman, or well, both Fat Boys now start pushing up. Nicholas finishes an experimental. It is a Novax center. One I pointed out earlier. Being utilized there, and okay, Tele defense now being built up by Nicholas. So getting the Tele defense ready. That is good timing since the teleporter is around 50% done. And we do now have a disruptor started for Nyx. Not only started but almost finished already at over 80%. So the Duke should probably be retargeted onto that. In the meantime, Novax of course slowly flying over. The Novax is certainly not the fastest unit, but well, it does not need to be, since once it has reached its target, it's not gonna move back. You don't have to move it there again, since, well, you can't shoot down the satellite. Well, let me correct that, you technically can if you are very lucky with an artillery shell, but it is very unlikely. You usually need to destroy the Novax center. Can you still hit the Novax with artillery? Pretty sure there were some versions where you could, but I'm not sure if that's actually still a thing. To be honest. The slow creeping push from Sandeman does continue. Basically slowly creeping forward at the pace of a Fat Boy. Which is not very fast because, well, it's a Fat Boy. It's not supposed to be very fast. It's basically a mobile firebase. And I completely missed it. Roseboy goes down to the Ecro, who has tallied in with, guess what, a Tele ACU. Immediately pulls back out into the main base. After, of course, killing off the everything that there was to the west, not to the west or the east. Now opening the ground for a major assault against Nicholas, who however was already prepared, building up a massive amount of bricks of their own, to deal with the massive brick army that is now coming their way. Though I think the brick army that the Ecro has there is probably bigger. It looks bigger. Let me do a count. Oh, okay, that's some in the area that aren't actually part of that. We're looking at 46 right now against 44, so numbers are basically even, but the bricks for Nicholas are coming in one by one, so they are at a bit of a disadvantage since they can't all fire, and will just get picked off one by one by the army that is rather focused right now for the Ecro. But that problem gets solved very rapidly with the arrival of the shockers, which to everyone's shock do just completely shock these bricks to death, taking out a sizable number of those. The disruptor has finished, second one is also almost finished at 92%. Currently target from the defense satellite. And by the looks of it, also target of the Duke. Or at this point, Dukes. Third Duke still underweight, 32% done. Second Novak still a long way off finishing. But there is a emissary also started for Nicholas. And he crawled by looks fatality right here and died. Since there are strats flying away from here, I suspect that there was a strat snipe on the ACU after tallied into the corner right here for some reason. Maybe to try and claim the area? Not too sure what the play here was. The push right here very slowly continues, creeping forward. There is no Megalith and a Fatboy at the front for Nyx. That will be very, very slowly approached. Or not. The Fatboy just firing over the plateau. Having just the right gun elevation to at least lob some of the shells over that. And I guess this has turned into a standoff battle. Nuke launcher for Nicholas is already fully loaded. Only problem is that there is loaded SMD in place to defend against that for both of the remaining players on the northern team. So both bases on the northern team currently defended from nukes. However, shielding around the disruptors is slowly failing. We do have a lot of shield assistance going on. Quickly loading those shields back up. The perk about shield assistance is of course that not only do you reload those shields significantly faster than usual, you can also reload them out of their usual delay to start regenerating health. The big downside is that that is also very mass intensive, since you basically rebuild the shield at its mass cost, which, as you can probably imagine, is a lot. T3 shields tend to be very expensive. If we just take a look at the UEF T3 shield, that is 3,300 mass per shield. And, well, with a lot of shield assistance you do tend to spend that very fast. Since that is a lot of willpower. Not Disruptor, Emissary about to finish, and there it is. Ready to start firing. Third Duke, around 50% done now. So those two Disruptors are now actually facing 3 artillery pieces. On paper, however, because the current 2 Dukes have been retargeted onto the base of Roark's Legit, causing some major damage there. A lot of Stingers do try and deal with the Fat Boys right here for Salaman, as at the time that the Fat Boy is pushing and the Megalith is pulling back, so I guess a push was attempted with some gunshot play to deal with the experimentals, but they do still survive. And thus, this entire project does not succeed. And, well, some minor infrastructure continues going down for Roark's Legit. But that does not look like it's properly breaking through right now. And yes, no. Second please. Go to scratch my leg. There we go. Roark's Legit moving under the shield next to the Disruptors. Bit of stuff going down, including some P-gens on the Agrat. A few of the shields do collapse. And that looks like at least one of the P-gens is not under any assisted shields. Emissary now targeting that position. Duke's also back on target. SMD being turned into a priority target for nuke launch, I suppose. Strats do come in to deal with that as well, to drop the shields, maybe for the Norvex to land. And it does succeed. But the Norvex does not fire in time. The SMD survives at 800 HP. Shield drops once again, down to 20 HP. But looks like, never mind, there's the nuke. Shield drops again, still at 43 HP. But Norvex currently on cooldown. It does shoot down the nuke. And shields pop back out just in time, so that SMD at 20 HP was just about able to actually hold off the nuke. Does end up still getting killed, but it did its duty and prevented that nuke from actually landing. Very impressive. Only one problem, there is a second nuke loaded in the nuke launcher down here. The second Norvex also about to finish. Third emissary at 78%. SMD has already been rebuilt, but it's of course not loaded since it has just been constructed. The Fatboy push does progress onward, takes out the Megalith. Fatboy must have already died earlier. Not sure where it is, but I expect it's dead. A nuke out from here. I completely missed that there was a Liberator nuke launcher built up by Nyx. No, not by Nyx, by Rox Legit right here in the base that once belonged to the Eco. Going SVD nuke into this area, however, there is not much left in this area anymore since the army has already pushed on. So that will not work out too well. Nuke for Nicholas, the second one. Does fly in, of course, SMD not loaded, as already pointed out. Shooting around the artillery pieces also fell. The nuke lands, takes out the ACU of Nyx. Yep. So only Rorax Legit is left, right here in the back. Tries to move out, though they are on a lot of shielding, so they should probably not pull out of there. Actually working on a Scaffold that is already 70% finished. But looking at their current situation, they have a massive push right here coming in from the west. Sweeping across. A sizable push about to sweep across from the east as well. Of course, the attacks coming on through the center with the artillery pieces. I don't think that they will be able to come back from this. Also, on economy, they are down around 400 mass income. They move out of the shield to maybe try to get down to the scaffolds down here. It has definitely been scouted. Nicholas just sending over a few ASF instead of some spy planes. The ACU taking a bunch of Norvex fire. Artillery shells hitting wherever. I suspect those might have all just been targeted onto the ACU at this point, since that pattern looks very suspicious. Suspiciously like that. Shooting around the scaffolds collapses. It's taking fire. Hit by artillery and there it blows. Nuke launcher probably about to die next. Rorax Legit down a lot of HP now. Still now completely unshielded and goes for a recall. Right, I hope you did enjoy this. This was streamed live on Twitch. Link to that will be, as per always, down below in the description. If you did enjoy it, maybe leave a like, or don't, I can't force you. And if you want to be notified when more videos like these do eventually come out, I would guess next Wednesday, because that is my usual upload schedule nowadays. Since I did cut down from the 3 casts a week. And that felt a bit much during when I was dealing with a bunch of stuff in school as well, so yeah. Yeah, no. I'm gonna stick with 1 cast a week. Maybe the occasional bit of additional content, which I have been promising for probably over a month now, which has still not come. I originally planned to probably upload my current Hades that I play on Twitch as a second stream, usually on Fridays as well. But I forgot to start recording that shit, and now I'm far enough in that I don't think it would feel weird starting that now, so maybe for the next game I will remember to actually record that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Gonna be back, or hope to see you again in a future cast, and till then, bye!